Ivan, the wheel bucket's ready, the wash bucket's ready, and I'm ready. And so is Godzilla. I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. Today, we're gonna be washing the legendary Godzilla, the GT-R. Now, this person actually drives it, has fun with it. This is almost a daily driver for him. So we're gonna treat it as such, we're gonna clean it up. In another video, sometime down the road, we're gonna polish it, we're going to ceramic coat it. But for this video, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna foam it, we're gonna decontaminate it, we're gonna use iron remover, we're gonna make it pristine, ready for polishing.
Exactly, and that's down the rabbit hole. That's what I do best.
Yep.
So do you, Ivan. So we're gonna start with some all clean in the IK foamer.
Right, let's gut these wheels. They have a lot of brake dust on them. Now, knowing that we had a lot of brake dust going on here, I added a little bit of Incredible Suds to the all clean.
Now why add that? I like the suds, I like the foam, but what's the utility of that?
To give it more cling time to break down that really heavy brake dust.
Okay.
And as we can see by the color of the water coming off of it and the suds, there's a lot in there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Right.
I'm gonna hit it with the foam cannon. You good with that? All right. What would you say if I triple stacked? Incredible Suds, all clean, and then iron remover.
Go for it.
That's the overachiever in me.
So while Nick does the wheel on the other side, I'm just gonna add a little iron remover to this one before we rinse it off. The Incredible Suds is still holding on, doing its thing. But we're gonna rinse the Incredible Suds off before foaming it one more time. Instead of the 2-bucket method, we prefer the 2-foam cannon method.
Is rinsing down the car, you might think, well, he mentioned something about they don't use a 2-bucket method. We don't use a 2-bucket method for this reason. If you pre-treat the paint well, so in this case, an Incredible Suds, and then you rinse it off, then we're going to add one more layer of Incredible Suds. So we're actually going to give ourselves another chance at emulsifying the dirt, another chance at lubrication. So whenever we're going to introduce a contact wash, we're introducing scratch risk. That's why people use the 2-bucket method, right? Well, this way, we've foamed, we've emulsified, and then we've safely broken down a lot of that stuff. We've pressure washed off. That's what Ivan's doing now. Now, you might take the 2-bucket method and start to wash, not us. When we introduce foam one more time, the suds will keep clinging, keep breaking down, keep providing lubrication. Then we're gonna use our wash mitt, and then we know we don't need 2 buckets because the surface is clean and lubricated for our wash.
So Nick, we've got the first rinse off done. As you were mentioning, this eliminates the need for a second bucket.
The paint is going to be so safe by the time we touch it.
Right.
That method is no longer necessary. I was always kind of suspect in my mind anyway.
Yeah, basically, now we just have a bit of traffic film left.
You think that like 2 buckets make sense? Getting a bucket ready is a pain in the butt.
Not only that, the bucket, the mitt going back in, are you sure you're getting everything off of it?
No.
No, exactly. Whereas this way we know we have no grit left on the vehicle. We just might have a bit of traffic film, and that traffic film, we're encapsulating it again and hitting it with our legacy sponge.
Well, what if we double bucketed it after the 2 pre-soaks?
That's just using too much time and energy.
Exactly.
And I'm getting the wheels again because they were particularly nasty.
Yes, they were. And I'm using our legacy sponge with incredible suds.
Right.
And I'm doing so with enthusiasm.
The sponge is great for that.
Yep, versatile. I prefer to use rinseless wash when I'm actually washing. So I'm a legacy sponge guy all the way.
Yep.
But it's definitely very user-friendly when it comes to incredible suds as well.
It glides over the
It really does. It glides super well. And I did a broad swath of car, and you might say, is that too much before you flip? No, because we know what this paint looks like.
Right.
And it's very clean already.
And we're going to be polishing it afterwards anyways. And Nick, speaking of a broad swath.
Indeed, indeed.
There you go, thank you.
Get it here? Okay.
And I have in my hand iron remover and our perforated synthetic decontamination towel. I know it's a long mouthful, but
PSD towel.
right. We do not want you to think of this as a clay towel because there's no clay involved whatsoever.
Yeah, much like when you're using rinseless wash, just no pressure with a legacy sponge.
Yeah.
And it just glides over the incredible suds.
Same thing with the perforated synthetic decontamination towel, PSD towel. One spray here, one spray on the panel. Deposit the towel on the surface and just glide it. So we're using not only the amazing lubrication of incredible suds, but at the same time, the iron remover provides its own lubrication. Now, despite being driven extensively, this is not a garage queen in any way, shape, or form. It is well maintained. The guy likes his car, with reason.
He loves it. I talked to him, he said, I'm never getting rid of it, ever.
And he has a lot of interesting cars, but this is his favorite.
He was excited to make DIY Detail YouTube channel with it too, for posterity.
There you go.
Do you think naming cars is over or underrated, Ivan?
You mean giving them a nickname?
Giving them a name, yeah.
Yeah, some people, they like it, some people they don't. I used to do it when I had like 10 or 15 cars in my stable. And the reason I did it was so we'd know which car. Because at one point I had 6 Volvos. So saying, let's take the Volvo tonight, didn't really say anything.
You had 6 Volvos?
Yeah.
Wow.
Different years, different models, different engines. So the way we named our cars was the name of the previous owner. So we had Fred, we had George, we had Sandra.
Did the previous owners know this?
No, they didn't. So we can hear the contamination down here. And as I lightly go over it with no pressure, I don't feel it anymore. And at this point, I don't hear it anymore either. So, move on to the next section.
The legacy sponge does a phenomenal job when you've got the panel just lathered up with suds. As it starts to drip down, you're gonna hear more of the It's perfectly safe, but it's a little bit less enjoyable as a user. So if you're wondering, what's the best way to use incredible suds of the legacy sponge? Get it very soapy on the surface of the paint, and it's just gonna glide over like a breeze.
And the same thing, dip your sponge back in your bucket more frequently. That way you're picking up a lot of additional lubrication as well.
It's a great call, Ivan. Just changed the game for me.
So if you're new to the channel, you'll notice we do things maybe a little differently than what you're used to. And one of the things we get remarks on is our use of the decontamination towel and iron remover. And we get asked, well, if I use this brand of iron remover, can I do that? The question is, we don't know. We know it works with ours. And if you want to try it with another brand, it's at your own risk, unfortunately. We actually designed our iron remover to do this, to provide that additional lubrication, to be safe for the decontamination towel, and super safe for your paint.
What have you not hit over here, Ivan, that I can do?
I'm just starting on this side.
Okay.
So this whole side is all yours.
How about back here?
Nothing.
Okay.
And what we're actually doing here is, like I said, a little different than what you may have seen elsewhere. We're using the decontamination towel to take the iron particle off of the paint, and we're just leaving the rust stain for the iron remover to deal with. And the iron remover should actually be termed iron particle remover and rust stain dissolver. But that would be a little too long.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very good, Ivan. Come on now.
Marketing-wise, it's not a win. But description-wise, yes it is. Now, if you're doing this outside, direct sunlight, don't. No, you can. You just have to be a lot more careful as to how you do it. Work in smaller sections and rinse off when you're done a section. And even though it's tempting, it's never really a good idea to detail in direct sunlight. You always want to use your decontamination towel on windows because it definitely makes them easier to clean the next time. So the last part I'm going to do with the decon towel is the rocker panel here, because I know that's the most solicited part when it comes to contamination. And when we're done this, put our towels in the wash bucket and they can rest there. Get the iron remover out of them, we'll rinse them off, and when we're done, put them on a shelf to dry, decontamination side up, and we're good to go. So now Nick is rinsing. He needs to be very, very methodical with the rinse, because now we're not only taking the suds off, the incredible suds, we're also taking the iron remover. And iron remover, it would be nice if we could say you don't need to rinse it off, but yes you do. So rinse it off, make sure you're getting in the cracks, crevices, getting it all out of there, and you're good to go. Now, the method we use for applying the iron remover makes it so that we're not using a big amount on the vehicle. So we don't have that lovely fragrance of iron remover in the shop, and also we're not using a lot of the product because iron remover is expensive. We know that. So we want to show you how to use less of it. And this is one way of doing it. Now Nick is rinsing until he sees no more suds coming off the car. When he sees no more suds, then he knows he's rinsed enough, because the iron remover suds up as well. So he's making sure to get under the mirror, around the mirror. That's great. He started from the top, working his ways down, getting those wheels just one more time because they were rather nasty. Now they're looking good. Nick, we did a great job.
I feel like we did a great job.
Now, at this point, normally we'd break out the quick beads and rinse it off, but join us for the next video. Well, you'll see us polishing and ceramic coating this car. And that's why we're not doing any additional steps other than drying it off.
We're gonna dry it, we're gonna polish it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
We're not using a drying aid because we don't want to contaminate the paint with something slippery like ceramic gloss or quick beads, because we want that ceramic to bond as well as possible.
So if you know you're gonna be polishing, you could use panel prep if you're just hell-bent on using a drying aid, but you really don't need one here. We're gonna polish the paint after, so any minor abrasions we might make, which we're not looking to make, but if that were to happen, they're gonna come out in the polishing stage.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us, and if you like this type of video, I think if you look right above this GT-R here, you'll see more.
See you there.